Welcome, everyone, once again to the Super Reliable Studios for our special coverage tonight of Ring of Honor, represented tonight by Global Wars in conjunction with Metroplex Wrestling out of the Texas area. Of course, co-owned and led, trained by our Ring of Honor Forever Women's World Champion, Athena. And welcome to our super quick, simple pre-show discussion. Hope you all enjoyed tonight's coverage. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend if you want to dictate the conversation. Super chat, PayPal, pages is as simple as that. Hello, everybody, and welcome back here to the Super Reliable Studios once again. You know what this is, for I'm the Superman of the Super Brand, the voice of the SRS for Great for All Things Professional Wrestling. Damn it, my name is Noel Foster, where honor is real as we bring you coverage on this stream for Global Wars tonight, courtesy of ROH and Metroplex Wrestling out of the Texas area. Tonight, we will have championships on the line. We've had Proving Grounds, of course, as the Tiger-style longest reigning defending Ring of Honor Pro Champion Lee Moriarty will defend the chance for the gold to be challenged for against former MPX champion Exodus Prime. As of course, if you are with me on Honor Club Live, you are of course watching the feed right now that gets us into tonight's action. Current XPS champion Dylan Cameron will defend against former MPX champion JD Griffey, no stranger to Ring of Honor, of course. We'll have another proving ground as Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion Red Velvet will stir it up with player one, Vert Vixen, coming off a great chance against Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship in Proving Ground. Let's see if she can stir it up beyond the 10 minutes here with the television champion. As you see, our forever minion overlord, Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena, of course, pushing this challenge out to Hyan and Maya World. Finding a partner tonight. They are partnering up tonight with the Ring of Honor Women's Pure Champion, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. And we'll see once again if Diamanté and Billie Starks become fluent in Purrazzo tonight, courtesy of the virtuosa of honor herself. Big Bill and Bryan Keefe will also be in tag team action tonight against Surf and Turf, a local independent team on the Uprise, of course. Ahead of course, the parking lot fight 8-man tag this Saturday night. Abadon will defend the MPX Women's Championship against Ray Lynn, a great freelancer from the Midwest area. And of course, we also have Shane Taylor Promotions against MPX talent and Texas' own Reiza Clarke, Demo Diamond, LVJ, and Kari J. Wright in mixed 8-person tag team action. That all ahead right now on Global Wars, courtesy of ROH and MPX. As they run down the card right now, shout out to the voices of Ring of Honor, Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni. I also encourage you to stay tuned for Super Live Studios all night long, leaving you an impact of a trifecta of wrestling coverage. For 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll go live with coverage with Cross Hour, Curse of Wrestling Revolver. And 7:30, we will go live with MLW with Battle Riot 8. To keep you in tune with all the rest of the night this Thursday evening. Hope you all enjoy everything. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, tell everyone that you know that this is what the Simple Live Studios is all about as we keep you in tune with coverage for all things wrestling. And it looks like we're going to kick things off with mixed 8-person tag team action. Let's go into Arlington, Texas to the Esports Stadium as action gets underway. And for those that want a little bit more history on Metroplex Wrestling, is of course out of the Texas area. Currently, there are 5 championships, 4 champions right now crowned. JD Griffey is the current MPX champion. Tommy Becker, current MPX Addicts champion. Of course, you saw MPX Women's champion is the returning Abadon. And MPX Tag Team champions are Dave DeVille and Devon Anello. All 4 of these talents you see coming out right now, very well known out of the Texas area. Of course, STP. Very familiar with also some of these talents. Trisha Dora, Shane Taylor, of course, the infantry, talking about Captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo. For those that don't know, also Anthony Agogo. That woman far in the back has been wrestling out of Maryland Championship Wrestling. She is also just about as young in her career as Stoli Denali, 6'3", background in basketball, apparently going after a degree in forensic science. What a brain on her. That is Christian XO. Don't be surprised she gets involved in tonight's actions, folks. Rumble, Batman, Rumble. Here come the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Champions. And you know that Shane Taylor got his troops ready for a battle tonight. And there's the newest recruit to the STP family, Christian XO. I tell you, Ring of Honor sure knows how to bring those athletes that are tall and young in this business. And of course, STP won the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championships back in Philadelphia and have held them ever since. Although I don't know whether or not Lee Moriarty agrees with the antics as of late with Shane Taylor Promotions. We'll talk more about that when we get to the Ring of Honor Pure Championship Proving Ground match, of course. I want to thank everybody, by the way, that tuned into our coverage this past weekend, by the way, for Royal Rumble. And of course, stay tuned for our coverage for the GCWJ Cup. Speaking of GCW, if you haven't got your tickets already, I want to encourage you to get your tickets for Pull Down Mania, part of the GCW Collective for the first time ever. Of course, regularly out of Las Vegas, an annual showcase of an all-women's professional wrestling event. And stay tuned, as Simple Apple Studios has upcoming interviews with several talents from the promotion that will be involved in this year's card once again. Shout out to Ed in San Antonio, by the way. Follow Ed in San Antonio on the X for more information. And of course, we got Olympic boxer here, bronze medal boxer, and Athena Go-Go, who could KO you. Referee for this contest, Fawn Smith. He's going to have his hands full with this one. And Olympic bronze medalist, of course, Shane Taylor, former boxer with a hell of a southpaw. Infantry, of course. Long standards for Ring of Honor. Trish Adora, the Afro Punk. And you'll see if the Code of Honor is adhered to, as usual, here in Ring of Honor. And a little pie face there. We're going to start things up here. Bell rings are underway. You can use the hashtag ROH MPX Global Wars, be part of the conversation on the X as well. Let's show some love for Ring of Honor, a promotion that's shown its honors real since 2002. Nice takedown there by Captain Sean Dean. I almost wonder if he's trying to impress Christian XL anymore. MPX Wrestling, for those that want to learn more about it, go to mpxwrestling.com. Of course, Ring of Honor keeps you eye to eye with all the businesses across the world, whether in the UK, in Australia, in Japan, in Mexico, or in the UK. And of course, Revolution AEW will present AEW Revolution Sunday, March 18th from the Staples Center. And of course, the Studios will keep you in tune with coverage of that, as well as the kickoff to this year's All Elite League. Stay tuned for more on that, courtesy of my Simple brand. And of course, the flagship of my brand, Simply Predicting. Looking for the head capture right now. Great arm control, the side headlock. And of course, Captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo, former servicemen of our country, of course. Respect. Nice shoulder block there. The size advantage right now. With the right, who comes in hard with the forearm. From the right and the clothesline, the arm ringer. That is Kari J. Wright, for those that are wondering, who's in the ring right now with the braids. And up and over. This would be a huge chance for future challenges, possibly, for the Ring of Honor 6-Man Tag Team Championships. The big out. Oh, the big right! Just dropped right. It was a good start, but that got snuffed out pretty damn quickly. Of course, STP loves to use the numbers game to their advantage more than anything. The Irish Whip now, as Captain Sean Dean now on deck. The big right hand, arm ringer, right bringing to the corner. And a tag made, I believe that is Damo. And of course, the infantry long standards of Ring of Honor and AEW here. Curious, though, what Damo Diamond actually could bring to the table here. Knife edge chops right now. And again, folks, this is our opening contest. I always love learning more about the talents in the local areas. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Texas names tonight. In fact, several of the names you're going to see have actually been trained by Flatbacks Academy, of course, led by Tyler Breeze and Sean Spears. About to say, you don't want to play with the infantry unless you get sent to a boot camp. Don't take them lightly here, guys. Oh! Anticipation, the Cazadora hooked up by the arm. Near the midsection there. The captain reeling right now back to his corner. Tag made now to Trisha Dora. Of course, NWW Academy standout. And now Reiza Clarke in, of course, as the women do face the women more often than not versus the men. Trisha Dora putting the boots right now to Reiza Clarke. Reiza Clarke unable to get out of the way right now. Trisha Dora's wrath. Good grief. And of course, Trisha Dora, former semi-finalist in the Ring of Honor Women's Pure Championship Tournament, losing the virtual Deonna Purrazzo. What a high kick, though. Tagmate. Oh, and Trisha Dora with the splash now, and uh-oh. Legally right now, it is Shane Taylor, but quick test made to Captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo. Trios offense right now. Everyone wiped out here. Great tag team work here by the Ring of Honor six-man tag team champions. Oh, man! BBC Bronco Buster Corner. I guess that's what that stands for. But I mean, I've heard BBC stand for British Broadcasting Company. That 4-on-1 assault right now by Shane Taylor Promotions. Tag. This is what happens when you got too many buys in the ring at once. Again, folks, still to come tonight, we got 2 titles on the line. We got 2 Proving Ground matches, both for ROH and MPX Gold. And the women will be in 6-man tag team action. And Billie and Bryan will be taking on tag team action against Surf and Turf. And right now, there's Christian XO with a nasty slap. Again, outside interference, shades of Stoy Denali. Ironically enough, Stoy Denali, background not in basketball, but in volleyball, straight out of the Ohio area, represent my state. And Shane Taylor, that southpaw. Again, speaking of Shane Taylor promotions I talked about earlier, Lee Moriarty, Tiger Style, longest reigning Ring of Honor Pure Champion, will defend the chance for the gold against Exodus Prime later tonight. That man's man, apparently, is what Shane Taylor is. The most violent man I know of out of Cleveland, Ohio. Former Ring of Honor television champion. Notorious Ring of Honor television champion. Captain step over half crab. Sits in it deep, though. And, of course, turned away at the crowd right now. He's a crowd to his corner to make the tag here. And again, holding onto the ropes, referee Stephon Smith catching that, though. And for those that don't know, Demon Diamond, by the way, out of the Texas area, 4 years of experience. And tag made now. Lisa Clarke back in now, and Dora back in. Risa Clarke taking out the entire STP. Oh, good grief. Risa Clarke trying to pose her will right now on Trisha Dora with a vicious forearm. Risa Dora, of course, out of the Texas area. 7 years of experience, trained out of DFW All-Pro Wrestling Academy, driving her knees to the Trisha Dora in the corner. Of course, has previously been involved in MIT business against Billie Starks and Diamanté. Nice sidewalk slam, cover, kick out at 2 by Trish. And Risa Clarke, also previous challenger to Abadon's MPX Women's Championship. Dora, the waist lock, though. German suplex, high bridge on that one. Dora had no idea that Risa Clarke back up on her feet. Oh! Backdrop suplex by Miss Clarke. Dora, who's fighting back here, though. I like the attitude of these women. The infantry, though, wiping out everybody opposite side. There goes Damo, LVJ, and Kari. And that kick just caught Risa Clarke flush. Tritadora. Lariat, Tubman shoots the half-2. That is it. And for those that don't know, Tritadora, of course, we talk about February being Black History Month. A lot of her moves based on incredibly famous historians who had incredible impact, of course, on the Black culture. STP standing tall tonight. And, of course, Harriet Tubman, pioneer, of course. You see STP holding up the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships, Christian XO. A quick, simple contest there, and a good win for Shane Taylor Promotions, but a nice showcase for Risa, Damo, LVJ, and Kari. I think Risa was the one that impressed me the most. Again, you can learn more about the athletes you saw on the right-hand side here out of the Texas area, or watching, of course, Metroplex Wrestling. As we got a moment to breathe, again, I want to encourage and remind you that we do this for all the biggest shows, specials, pay-per-views across all things wrestling, limited to AEW, WWE, NXT, TNA, ROH, NWW, and other independent promotions. That being said, let's ready up and let's go ahead and get our game on. It's time for very well-known, famously respected, and one of my favorites on the grind, Vert Vixen, taking her chance against Red Velvet tonight. These two are no strangers to each other. What I love about Vert Vixen, she is always ready to get back up and fight. You never can keep player one down. She's always ready to continue before the countdown hits 0. And speaking of gaming, stay tuned for Walter Cruz, of course, as we level up with Super Reliable Gaming here very soon with the Super Reliable Studios, both in co-op, competitive, and rage-inducing nature. And of course, Vert Vixen kept knocking on this door for quite a period of time, looking for her first chance of gold in Ring of Honor. Looking to stir it up with Red Velvet, who's been very dominant as of late, with a recipe for success since being Mercedes Moné and regaining that championship. Yeah, again, Red Velvet, always looking to stir it up, stir it up, stir it up. Still very young, of course, in her career, but believe it or not, folks, she is going into her 5th proving ground match tonight. In less than 2 months, already overcoming Lacey Lane, Shunda Martina, Janai Kai, and Robin Renegade. Vert Vixen, former Rhodes Wrestling Association champion, current BTW and New Texas Pro Women's champion, former VIP Women's champion, disciplined by the likes of Daga from Pro Wrestling Noah, and of course the natural Dustin Rhodes. Code of honor adhered to. Bell rings are underway. Again, folks, in these proving ground matches, all the challenger has to do is outlast the champion for 10 minutes. It's not necessarily have to get the decision. They just have to be rendered the winner or survive the time limit. The waist lock applied, of course, the size advantage on Vert Vixen with a height differential. Thus, she has a stronger reach. Of course, we know Red Velvet has that boxing background in her family. Pupil out, of course, the Nightmare Factory. And of course, you folks can time along with me. 10 minutes on the clock right now. Up and over. Vert Vixen, of course, took Athena close to 7 minutes just last week on Ring of Honor in her proving ground against the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Armor exchange here right now. Whoa! And taken down. Red Velvet working on the left arm with the leg drop to the shoulder. And now short arm scissor lock here applied by the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Bridge up though by the challenger. Nearly caught the champion there. Had to force the break at a 2. Referee for this contest, Brandon Martinez. Irish whip reversal. Vert Vixen up and over. Outpacing the champion so far. Taking her down with the shoulder block. And Red Velvet right now. I wonder if she's a fan of Red Velvet cake. Personally, I never cared for that cake, but that's just me. Nice sweep of the leg, drops the elbow to the lower spine, shoots the half of the cover, hook on the far leg, gets a 1 count, goes Vert Vixen. Vert Vixen, of course, freelancer, trailblazer, has been in more countries than a Street Fighter campaign. Thrown off into the corner, able to roll out of the way. Again, just being in the ring, though, with a champion really shows how much Vert Vixen is willing to test herself. Shoulders down. 2 count on Vert by Red Velvet. Vert Vixen, of course, also previously involved with the AEW Women's World Champion Chris Statler at a time. And these two have a very long history. Previously faced each other on Collision. And, of course, Red Velvet got the win that night. Whoa! Nice running single drop kick there. And popping right up like a pimple on prom night. Staying right with the left arm here, keeping the champion grounded. This is smart right now by Vert Vixen. Wear her down, work on that shoulder, covered in heavy kinesio tape, of course. And right now, arm drag takeover by Red Velvet. Force the separation. And sidestep. Big lariat there with the heel of the boots. And Red Velvet. Right back to the arm, though. Goes Red Velvet this time, though. Tapping the left arm of Vert Vixen. And, of course, the first time Red Velvet and Vert Vixen met each other, folks, was AEW Dark in 2020. This is actually their 3rd ever singles encounter. Shout out to Jasmine Allure, by the way. Mixed Tessa's match in Ladies Night Out. Of course, Vert Vixen and Jasmine Allure, a very tumultuous history as tag partners and as rivals. Red Velvet right now working the neck of Vert Vixen in this modified sleeper hold. And right now, Vert Vixen needs to get back up to her feet, try and create separation. Great awareness by Red Velvet, though. Vert Vixen right now trying to regroup. Vert Vixen, who almost had her nose broken last week by Athena. And Red Velvet getting her bearings together here. Might have rocked a little bit there. And Vert Vixen again, the schoolgirl needs to follow up the cover at 2 count. Again, you're in a match right now where you could challenge for a championship. You can't give your opponent no mercy. You can't give them no separation. Again, though, Red Velvet back to the double wrist slap, the nerve grab on the left shoulder. Vert Vixen, of course, for those that don't know, she is also a video game programmer. The gaming is not just in a wrestling nature, folks. It is literally a way of life for Player One. 36 years of age, of course, on the grind for 6 years now. A rebound off the ropes. Oh, man, what a high kick. Vert Vixen taking Red Velvet down, close to probably 10% on that health bar at this point. Now hoisting up the champion, up on the shoulder. Black belt Taekwondo, and right now hanging her up in the tree of woe, putting the boots to Red Velvet in the corner. Also previously was involved in softball. Now Vert Vixen looking to pick up speed with a baseball slide. Nowhere to go for Red Velvet. Just get that boot straight to the face. Now for the cover to make the win, and gets a 2 count. And now Vert Vixen needs to figure out what she needs to do. I don't think she needs a cheat code, but she needs to figure out the right combo to success to get the better of Red Velvet tonight. Back elbow strike. Especially after going over 5 proving grounds. Nice scissor leg hold for a 2 count by Red Velvet. I really love how dynamic Red Velvet's become since that match against Mercedes when they had final battle, adding more to her repertoire and being more aggressive. Went for another high heel kick. Red Velvet able to escape. Now putting the boots to the corner of Vert Vixen here, stretching her out far. Again, the leverage on the split, though, by Red Velvet. Here's the cover. Hook on the far leg. Back press and a 2 count on Vert Vixen. Come on, Vert. Vert Vixen right now. I would love to see Vert Vixen signed. Oh, wait a minute. Trying to hook in overdrive. Vert Vixen, though, putting the brakes on that. And again, the strength of Player One. Red Velvet able to escape. Vert Vixen pushed off in the ropes, and Red Velvet and Vert Vixen right now, both women looking for that meeting, the collision, Cazadora, pick up, boom, thunder, bomb, cover, 2, debt, 2 count only. Vert Vixen nearly putting down Red Velvet with a modified blue thunder bomb. But the kitchen was closed here, but not yet. Oh, open palm strike, big forearm by Vert with her seat. And the hands right now, Red Velvet meeting the elbows of Vert Vixen here. And right now, I think she likes this recipe. Black Lariat. Oh, man, clopped him with a right. That might be the KO shot Vert Vixen needs. Finish her. Off the ropes, swinging a miss. Red Velvet, though, the Cazadora grabs the head into the Bulldog. Uh-oh. And Red Velvet looking to turn it up. Straight Iron Mama's Kitchen. Face first. The overdrive cover 2. That's it. And Red Velvet once again survives the proving ground. Damn. And Red Velvet, game effort right now, continues bringing a fresh recipe for success in these proving ground matches. And of course, Code of Honor adhered to with these two that have really shaped each other quite a bit here in and out of ROH and AEW since 2020. Well done by Vert Vixen, though well fought, but Red Velvet continues undefeated in these proving ground bouts. Good job by Red Velvet continuing to rack up these wins, waiting to see who will step up to her next. And I'm sure that's not the last we'll see of Vert Vixen in ROH. Meanwhile, Christopher Daniels, ROH alumni, trying to encourage Top Flight here, one of the brightest young up-and-coming teams in both AEW and ROH, and part of Skyflight underneath the tutelage of one Christopher Daniels and Scorpio Sky. So I do wonder where Vert Vixen is going to be next on her worldwide continue grind campaign. Will it be Japan? Will it be Australia? Will it be Europe? Who knows? And what gaming console will she play next? Always love Vert Vixen. Top caliber talent. Propose. Offer. It looks like Christopher Daniels is trying to plead, market, or lobby Darius and Dalton Martin of Top Flight of Skyflight to challenge Sammy Guevara and the Beast Mortos for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. It's an interesting, fun suggestion and first time matchup. I'd be for it. I mean, I don't think Sammy Guevara and the Beast Mortos have had challengers yet since they won those titles at Final Battle. So some food for thought. But what do you all think? Do you think that Top Flight are worthy challengers? Do they need to rack up the wins? Do you want to see Top Flight possibly as Ring of Honor with tag team champions? See if Los Fashion Monobles take flight or stay grounded on that offer. But hey, I admire the gumption. Meanwhile, back to tag team action for Metroplex Wrestling. Here comes. Okay, this is going to be interesting. This is where I feel like Ashley would just do a Baby Shark reference. Surf and Turf. And about to say, if you haven't figured it out by now, Phil Shark is the guy in the Sark suit. And from Kona, Hawaii Curse is Surf in the pink trunks. I don't think sharks are native to Texas, though. I'm just saying, but what do I know? But hey, I've never seen this here before, so maybe they can surprise me. Surf, of course, is Brada Kamai, and Turf, Phil Shark. Brada Kamai, 22 years of old, again, from Hawaii. 3 years involved in the game, training out Flatbox Wrestling School, of course, led by, as I said earlier, Sean Spears and Tyler Breeze. Meanwhile, Big Bill and the bounty hunter Bryan Keith, no strangers in the Texas area as this bounty hunter, currently 1-0 as a tag team in Ring of Honor. And of course, they will be involved in a vicious 8-man parking lot fight alongside the grizzled young veterans against the Rascals and Ortiz and Eddie Kingston this coming Saturday on AEW Collision. Big Bill, the tallest thing out of New York since the Empire State Building, former basketball player in his own right. How you doing? And bounty hunter Bryan Keith, over a decade plus of in-ring wrestling experience. Phil Sharp, by the way, folks, straight out of Texas, he's known as the underwater wet boy. And referee Bryce Rensburg for this contest, by the way. Current Texoma Pro Texas champion, and of course, previous challenger to the MPX Tag Team Championships. It's been a while since the parking lot fight on AEW. Bell reigns are underway here. This is should be interesting. What happens when a shark meets a bounty hunter who probably only hunts bounties by land? Well, I guess he just throws his poncho to the shark's face. That works. Bryan Keith putting in the boots. Supping away on Phil Shark. And there goes the shark head. I mean, I guess it's not technically a mass, so I don't think it's sacrilegious, but the shark's been beheaded. And Bryan Keith looking to follow up. Phil Shark out of the corner. Blind tag made now to Surf. And, Manhattan drop. Tossing the Phil. Scoop slam. Powerbomb cover. 2 count on Bryan Keith. Great combination there by Brada Kamai and Phil Shark. Surf and Turf. Uh-oh. Well, I don't know how this shark's going to surf this tidal wave. What? Harpoon. Oh, well. The harpoon meets the big boot. And a clothesline follow-up for Mr. Kamai, who might be saying aloha here very soon. And of course, I don't think Big Bill and Bryan Keith are looking past these two. I don't think they're looking past ROH either, because I'm sure it's in Big Bill and Bryan Keith's future that they may want to be Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Big splash in the corner there. Of course, Eddie Kingston and Ortiz just started their tag team chemistry once again when Ortiz returned to AEW, already with a win over the GYV. Now Bryan Keith just put in the boots across the jawline of Mr. Surf here. Uh-oh, and a Big Bill just clubbing away against Brada. Brada right now saying, bro. Ooh, big boot. There goes Phil. Yeah, about to say, of course, like I said, these guys are still way young in this game, but, the game, the reps in, the pace is in. Kamai trained out of the Wild Samoan Training Center of Hawaii, by the way. Drops the knee across the forearm. There's the cover and a 2 count by Bryan Keith. And Bryan Keith, Big Bill, long-term tag team, as we know, formerly under Chris Jericho's learning tree. I know, folks, probably the worst gimmick ever in pro wrestling, but you can't argue, though, that built a lot of cohesion for Big Bill and Bryan Keith. Big Bill, of course, previous challenger to WWE Tag Team Gold at one point. Of course, over his Demons, former W. Morrissey, former challenger, TNA World Championship. And there's a nod to Chris Jericho by Bryan Keith. Come on, baby. Gets a 2 count with that pose. And, of course, Chris Jericho, former ROH World Champion. Of course, Bandito, the most wanted, still the Ring of Honor World Champion. Bryan Keith, for those that don't know, actually came out of the Texas area. So you would think there'd be more of a homecoming crowd that would appreciate him a little bit more here. Even in Arlington. And right now, Surf looking to hang 10 against Bryan Keith. Went for the Enziguri. Bryan Keith able to scout it, though, since up from underneath. Big boot turns Bryan Keith sideways. Critical moment here. The tag right now waiting to be made of Phil Shark, who's ready in the corner, but so is Big Bill. And again, Bryan Keith grabbing the feet. Up kick, though. And tag made to turf. And Shark is in. Hot tag right now to Phil. Going for a cheap shot against Big Bill. That wasn't very wise. And Bryan Keith, though, trying to take advantage. Went for the Arnagi. Arm drag takeover. Went for the spinning heel kick. Whoa! Coming a drop kick. Great double team. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Looking for the harpoon. Takes Big Bill down for the moment. Bryan Keith isolated. Standing moonsault by Serve. Turf with the shooting star press. There's the cover for the win. And a kick out at 2 by Bryan Keith. That would have been huge right there for Surf and Surf. And right now, Surf looking to hang 10 against Big Bill, who caught him, though. Uh-oh, and hold on. What out with a choke slam on the apron. Well, enough of a dry land there. Unfortunately, it was covered in steel and wood. Big boot there by Phil, and now Phil out of the corner. Oh, Kokeshi headbutt launched up like a Pez dispenser. Tap made, Big Bill and Bryan Keith isolated with Phil, and uh-oh. Oh, no. It's a boot. Boot for boots. Turning Phil both ways. Oh, my gosh. The deadlift by Big Bill into the bear hug. Just ragdolling right now. Oh, man. Border City Slam. That's it. Across both pearls there. Big Bill and Bryan Keith for the win. Big Bill being the boss tonight with that. And saying it's over, and it might be over before we know it this Saturday in that parking lot fight against Eddie Kingsland Ortiz and the Rascals. Big Bill and Bryan Keith victorious tonight. And again, folks, that'll be this Saturday on Collision. We're not covering it, but please stay tuned for a very specially hyped up Saturday shenanigans where all the power will be in play for women in wrestling, where we bring you more coverage of Porter Media and the talent that's to come. And again, shout out to Team Indy, who right now are starting coverage or preview for both Wrestling Revolver and MLW Battle Ride. Again, folks, if you're tuning into this, I appreciate you as always, but please support my friends, support all wrestling, as shortly we'll be covering MLW Battle Ride 8, as well as Cross Hour Wrestling Revolver. Stay tuned for more on those. Anyway, Abadon, the Living Dead Girl, they return back to ROH tonight, defending the MPX Women's Championship. Up next against Ray Lynn. Will Ray Lynn be left for dead? Let's find out as Ring of Honor Global Wars continues. Nice homecoming here for Ray Lynn. This is for the Metroplex Women's Championship again, currently held by Abadon, and this will be Abadon's 5th defense tonight after overcoming Nixon Newell, Vert, Vixen, Shea, Kat Michael, and Reiza Clarke, who you saw earlier. Actually won the title off Reiza Clarke, who is the former MPX Women's Champion. Abadon is the 7th MPX champion in this company's young history. This company goes all the way back to 2010, took a 2-year hiatus in 2022, since it was brought back to life in 2024. And Raylan, for those that don't know, she is known as the Miley Cyrus of professional wrestling. So it might be a party in the USA, but it might be a funeral in Texas tonight. Oh boy. She's back. I didn't know souls had weight to them, but apparently Bobby Cruz just told me that. Abadon making a long overdue, some would say, return to Ring of Honor Wrestling, currently holding the MPX Women's Championship. Raylan, by the way, folks, 37 years of age, been involved in this business now for 12 years, trained by the likes of Al Snow. What does everybody want? And right for this contest, the Ring of Honor Pure Official, Mike Posey. Raylan is the current Wrestle Rave Women's Champion and a former DFW All Pro Women's Champion and MCW Women's Champion. Of course, Abadon, who's been putting nightmares in people's heads since I don't know when. Raylan so far showing no signs of intimidation. And usually intimidation is the first sign that Abadon already has victory over you. Licking the title. Mike Posey holding up the MPX Women's Championship. Good piece of minute gold right there. I like the silver and the purple and the white. And of course, earning this by winning the Bad Bitch Brawl at MPX Cold Day in Hell. Raylan earned this opportunity, outlasting Anakin Ash, Hudson Envy, and London Dior. Okay, face to face. Raylan right now not believing in the spookiness, showing off her strength here. And it's not wise to pie face Abadon. Oh, headbutt to the heart. Jesus. Running slide kicks inside the head. Again, you don't fool around with the living dead girl if you want to leave this thing alive and with the title. And right now, run again with that knee strike from the side. Good grief. Abadon in full control here. We haven't even been 15 seconds in this match yet. Big backdrop suplex there. And Abadon right now trying to call out to all those souls. Back elbow strike by Raylan, trying to create separation here. Again, Raylan not showing no intimidation. I respect that gumption. Up and over, out of the corner. Ripped down by the hair goes Abadon. Hard middle of the ring. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do against the most unorthodox of opponents. And Abadon right now underneath the mount of Raylan, trying to cover up from this onslaught. Of course, champion's advantage, title control into his hands via pinfall or submission inside the ring. And Abadon back up to her feet. Kick to the hamstring, though, by Raylan. Takes Abadon down to a knee. And again, going back after the hamstring is Raylan. Oh! And Raylan, not the first time she's met Abadon, by the way. She can tell how fired up she is for this opportunity. Last time they met each other, believe it or not, folks, was back in AEW Dark in 2021. And Raylan able to outsmart Abadon that time. That match, by the way, went only for 3 minutes. And again, focusing the work on the left knee right now. Working on the body part, focusing on one limb. Very smart here. I wouldn't mind seeing Raylan challenging Deonna Purrazzo for the Metroplex Championship if she wrestles like this. And just planting that foot down hard into the canvas here, hyperextending the muscles and ligaments. Going back after the leg is Raylan. Again, focus attack here. Might be looking for another foot press DDT. Abadon, though, grabbing the leg and the cover shoulders down. And Raylan gets the right shoulder up. Oh, wow. Good counter. Raylan, once again, with the leverage. That's the key to submissions, folks. You want to make sure that you have leverage in those holds. And Abadon right now, back in the leverage position again. Raylan down the mat. Shoulders aren't firmly in play, though. Reverse the pressure. Raylan now in the single leg crab. One leg Boston crab, focusing her attack on the left leg. She's been working this entire match and driving Abadon's knee into the canvas. Great game plan here by Ray Lynn so far. Waist lock applied, standing waist lock exchanger. Abadon trying to get the better of Ray Lynn. Ray Lynn breaks the hold. Ooh, I think she raked her in the eyes there slightly. Oh, big high kick takes Abadon down. And able to get the cover. Now gets the cover. Shoulders aren't down. Now the shoulders are down. Poor positioning by Ray Lynn could have cost her there. Only getting a very late 2 count. Mike Posey in per position, by the way, for that cover. Against the kind of night, Athena, Diamanté, and Billie Starks taking on the virtuous Deonna Purrazzo and Texas's own Hyan and Maya World in 6-woman tag team action. And Lee Moriarty will defend the Ring of Honor Pure Championship and Proving Ground bout against former MPX champion Exodus Prime. And speaking of MPX Championship, the current champion, Devin Cummins, will defend against former champion JD Griffey. Ray Lynn now trying to tie up the legs of Abadon here. Some modified idiot deathlock here. As Abadon right now on the side of her body, trying to alleviate some of the pressure. Abadon's legs are firmly trapped here, and of course, her patella right now, her own worst enemy, almost a reversed figure 4 leg lock here, or a heel hook. And again, Abadon still crawling her way to the corner to force the break, and Ray Lynn relentless so far on this hold. Again, Living Dead Girl, you do wonder, can a Living Dead Girl feel pain? Oh, back elbow strike. I don't know if they can, though. A side stab, and Abadon, of course, previously involved in our Ring of Honor Women's World Championship business. Athena challenged her, of course. Ripcord went for the snapmare, counter, and oh! Spinning slam! Didn't get all of it, though. Hook of the far leg, and a 2 count for the MPX Women's Champion. Again, the knee damage too much. Abadon had to crawl her way to the cover. Couldn't immediately follow up after that finisher. Of course, Ray Lynn right now, slow to stagger. Abadon back up to her feet. Uh-oh. Might be looking for Black Dahlia here. Ray Lynn trapping again the ligament out the knee. Can't you hold her and a cooker. Ray Lynn able to counter the schoolgirl, the roll-up, new champion. And a 2 count. Oh, God, what a pump kick. A front face lock, Ray Lynn. Fisherman bridge kick out to by Abadon. Wow. Goes to show how tough Abadon is to hold on to the MPX Women's Championship. Abadon, though, oh, God! That's it. Rip Black Dahlia. Face first. Abadon retains the MPX Women's Championship. 181 days and counting. Let's call it whatever you want. That modified Sister Abigail, Ray Lynn, rip. There goes your chance. Abadon still MPX Women's Champion. A lot of damage done, though, to that left leg. Congratulations, though, to Abadon. Good grief. And, of course, that scream haunting the MPX Women's locker room right now. And I'm sure it's not the last time we'll see of them in ROH if this keeps up. Still, though, hobbling away is the champion, though. Ray Lynn, worthy effort and longer effort, by the way, shows how far she's grown and learned since their first encounter. 2 weeks ago, of course, we saw Lee Moriarty, Taga style, hold a Ring of Honor Pure Championship Proving Ground bout against Daddy Magic Matt Menard. And, of course, Shinto Promotions were on the attack until Skyflight came involved. And clearly, Skyflight has STP in their crosshairs. And again, I do wonder if Lee Moriarty is starting to regret being alongside STP based on their recent actions and behavior. Anything but honorable. Speaking of, let's go ahead and continue forward here with tonight's actions as Takasai Lee Moriarty defends the chance against the final boss, Exodus Prime. This is a Ring of Honor Pure Championship Proving Ground bout, folks. For those that don't know, Pure Wrestling, of course, the Pure Championship is a foundation that truly has defined Ring of Honor of why honor is real. Of course, the Pure official will be for this contest, Mike Posey. The title, of course, can only change hands via disqualification, pinfall, or submission. However, you only have 3 rope breaks, and then pinfall or submissions are counted legal inside the ropes. Of course, a closed fist to the face is a warning. Another closed fist will mean disqualification. And if anyone gets involved on either party's behalf, they are immediately terminated. Lee Moriarty, who's literally been passed the torch of the Ring of Honor Pure Championship by the most notorious Ring of Honor Pure Champion in this company's history, Nigel McGuinness, after surviving that incredible 30-minute Ironman bout in the sudden death at Final Battle. Lee Moriarty, Tiger Style, is the definition of the pure renaissance, as you see by his coat. He is the longest reigning Ring of Honor Pure Champion in this company's history. And having that level of experience, of course, with so many different types of challengers, including most recently coming back from Mexico with a successful defense against Sula, of course. That's the second time he's defended that title against him. And let's see if the Code of Honor, of course, is adhered to. This will be Lee Moriarty's 13th showcase of the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Ring of Honor Pure Champion, as I said, folks, he has been champion now for 560 days. You see the scorecard at the bottom of your screen, by the way. There is a time limit to this match, this Proving Ground, 10 minutes. Again, in Proving Grounds, all Exodus has to do is outlast the champion. And, of course, you outlast the Proving Ground bout, you will get a future title shot. And we have seen that happen before against Lee Moriarty. Exodus Prime right now with the wrist control. Right now, the hammerlock behind Lee Moriarty's back. Up and around goes Lee Moriarty. Exodus Prime, by the way, folks, out of the Texas area, 7 years involved in the game, calls himself the final boss. As I said earlier, he is a former Metroplex wrestling champion, held that title for 98 days. Previously New Texas Pro Tag Team Champion and current Inspire Pro Undefinable Champion. And Lee Moriarty trying to time up away from Sunday. And Exodus Prime holds on to the ropes. And that will be Exodus Prime's first rope break. Rotating his momentum to get out of that hold and making sure Exodus was the one to grab the rope. Smart move by the champion. Sometimes what you got to do is literally outsmart your opponent versus out-wrestle them in this type of contest. The definition of human chess. Again, deliver the shot to the elbow of Exodus Prime. Goes Lee Moriarty, now bringing it towards the corner. Oh, man, and lining him up with that knife-edge shot, trying to brand him. Irish whip, Exodus Prime, the Irish whip, up and over. Lee Moriarty, Exodus catching him, though, with a very bad landing on the knee. Ooh! Another nice Saito there. Prime in prime position right now against the champion. Up and over. Lands on the apron. Lee, though, trying to follow up. Covered his Lee Moriarty down right now. 7 minutes and 50 seconds left. Nice slingshot of the knees. Cover. Gets a 1 count. Lee Moriarty just immediately kicking out, even though he was near the ropes. Did not go for the rope break. And Exodus Prime with another knife-edge chop here. So far, having in favor of the champion as we are just a quarter of the way through this Proving Ground bout. Ugh. Again, you can primarily find Exodus Prime out of the Texas area, New Texas Pro Wrestling, Tacoma Wrestling, VIP Wrestling, which we've covered here before, and Metroplex Wrestling. Oh, Lee Moriarty stopping himself down in his tracks. Nice trap there into the flatliner as he hits the second turnbuckle. It's the cover by Lee Moriarty. Body in between him and the ropes. Forces Exodus to kick out at 2. The fact that Lee Moriarty is also so diverse in his style, not just explaining a single body part, but looking at every single limb. We know that he worked heavily on the shoulder now to beginners. Now he seems to be working over the head and arm of Exodus Prime here. And this is not the first time we've seen Exodus Prime in ROH, of course. There's the cover by Lee Moriarty again. Pie face. Gets a 2 count. And right now, this is the cravat applied by the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. First time we saw Exodus Prime, of course, was a 4-corner survival match in Ring of Honor against AR Fox, Matt Seidel, and Commander. But this is his first chance to try and go after Ring of Honor championships. And again, Lee Moriarty top Exodus Prime all sorts of ways inside the ring. Dangerous situation here, and Exodus Prime might have to use a second rope break to find his way out of this submission hold, and does so. I mean, the hammerlock and the pressure applied to the side of the head and neck by Lee Moriarty's boots, that's all that Exodus Prime could do for escape. Oh, man, and running in with that side boot is the champion. Straight to the side, straight to the temple. And Moriarty right now with Exodus Prime, the double underhook. Butterfly, able to escape. Oh, man! This is a Guri rocking lead to the corner. The time is just about halfway elapsed here in this proving ground bout. And Moriarty right now. Prime coming in hot here. Combination offense. Brings the champion back towards center. Up to the inside second. Big exploding elbow out of the corner. Fight was going for missile drop kick. Turned into a flying elbow strike. Exodus Prime in the driver's seat. It's got Moriarty right now. Looking for the full Nelson. Lee able to step through again, though. Exodus Prime, though. Exposing the back, though. Full Nelson backbreaker. That was motivative. Cover and a 2 count. Woof. That was a very smart move, changing his game plan from the full Nelson into that backbreaker modified. The time is now halfway elapsed over this proving ground bout. Double leg takedown, jackknife cover by Lee Moriarty. Kick out by Exodus at 2. Moriarty, rest of the boot. Boot delivered, and now Exodus Prime pop up. Powerbomb planted! High stack 2! No! Holds on, though. Maintains body control. Prime holding on, stepping over into the full Boston Crab. Sinking it in deep here, center of the ring. Again, Lee Moriarty taps out. Exodus Prime will get a future Ring of Honor Pure Championship opportunity. Again, not often you see Moriarty in this situation, and Lee forced to use his first rope break. And advantage does still go to the champion, knowing he has 2 rope breaks versus Exodus Prime's only 1. For those that don't know, I follow Ring of Honor since literally its genesis, folks. So honor is 100% still real to me. And I also, of course, do care about the independent wrestling scene far more than the mainstream. Always care about the grind. The backslide at Exodus Prime gets a 2 count for Lee Moriarty. Able to rope. Oh! Able to catch him on the rebound there. And once again, looking for the butterfly. Butterfly side slam cover 2. That's it. Woof. And the Ring of Honor Pure Champion at 6 minutes and 25 seconds survives this proving ground bout. Well done by Lee Moriarty. And again, I do wonder if Shane Taylor Promotions and Lee Moriarty are looking on the same page now, letting Lee do his own thing and respecting what it means to be the Pure Champion after shaking the hand of a very game opponent tonight. Game effort by Exodus Prime. Well done by Lee Moriarty. Tiger style prevailing tonight at Global Wars. We go backstage to Mark Sterling and the Swirl, Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. Okay, what is this about? Well, anyway, no one cares about smart Mark Sterling, right? Because no one cares about a lawyer. And of course, Mascara Dorada, a great match last week against Tony Nese in the main event, getting the win, while Smart Mark Sterling is saying he cheated. The only thing being cheated right now is that brace on your arm, faking an injury. Talk about the definition of fraud. And of course, he is a lawyer, so we know that most lawyers are frauds. For those that deal with the justice system, again, I apologize. Shout out again to Team Indy that is currently covering MLW Battle Ride 8 and, of course, Wrestling Revolver Crossover. Again, please support all our feeds. Support all things professional wrestling. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend what we do here for all the biggest shows, special pay-per-views across all things wrestling and independent wrestling. And stay tuned to Saturday Shenanigans at the Sip Up Studios for upcoming interviews with talent for the upcoming Puerto Mania show, part of the GCW Collective. Tickets are still available right now. Go to Ed San Antonio on the X, go to GCW Collective on the X, go to Puerto Mania on the X, and get your tickets today for WrestleMania week in Las Vegas for an all-women showcase. All right, let's go ahead and continue action here as we get underway with more championship glories. The MPX champions on the line. Delling cameras, of course. Delane Cavens, of course, the current MPX champion, defending the gold against former MPX champion JD Griffey. And of course, last time we saw JD Griffey here in Ring of Honor was when he teamed up alongside Shane Taylor. Of course, talking about Final Battle 2022. And again, JD Griffey is a former MPX champion. In fact, he is the former MPX champion that Dalen took the title from. JD Griffey, of course, background in mixed martial arts. Trains in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, of course. 19 years involved in this game, a freelancer out of the Texas area. Nicknames Flawless, Shady, call whatever you will. Got knockout power in those fists. He is a 5-time MPX champion. Previous VIP heavyweight champion, Revolver Texas champion. And of course, repping for this contest, looks like it's going to be Stefan Smith. There you see the purple, black, and gold being held up. Of course, Dalen Camerons is the 70th MPX champion in this titles and company's illustrious history, going all the way back to Thomas Wood, who held it back in 2010. Familiar names that held this title before, of course, besides JD Griffey, according to some of my research. Exodus Prime, who we just saw earlier. Code of Honor wasn't here, too, but there's a cheap shot with the right hand. And also who we saw earlier in Damon Diamond. Bell rung, and freaking Dalen got his bell rung. And a miscommunication up and over. Wow, good speed here right now. Taking him out the knee. Him in the back of the head and a little pose there. This guy's a little flashy. I like his style. He gives me vibes of that same energy like Hiromu Takahashi. Oh, well, JD apparently is not like that. Ooh, better focus. Open hand there. And again, Greco-Roman, knuckle lock, single hand, Escalera to the top rope, in between. And oh no! Oh man, nasty landing. The arm hyperextend across the top rope and crashing on the apron. A little too much showboating, and JD made him pay for it. Front face lock, hoisted up. Oh gosh! Face buster, almost a knee buster actually, as he went legs first more so on the apron. Dalen Camerons, by the way, young up-and-comer, 28 years of age, 4 years involved in this game. And JD in full control, X-Flex release on the apron again. Oh, man, rising knee strike, bringing the champion back towards center. And, of course, rematch all the way back from the first ever Dark Elevation tells you about these two men's history. First time that JD and Dalen met, actually, was back in MPX Prospects, MPX Monster Hunters Ball, in 2023. Previously involved in Wrestling Revolver Texas title tournament semifinals. JD got the better of Dalen. The one-on-one record has been in favor more of JD versus Dalen, despite the fact this is their 5th singles encounter since 2023. And right now, Dalen's in a lot of trouble here. All that energy snuffed out by the challenger. JD Griffey right now hoisting up the champion up on the shoulder. Again, the elbows, the point of the nose. And able to escape. Take the speed. Missed the clothesline. Up and over. Caught. Tag down JD with a DDT. Dalen Camerons, who's outlasted the likes of Rich Swann, by the way, since he's been champion. And again, rocking JD with that rolling kick. The unconventional nature of the champion here might play to his advantage. Tiger Fang kick connects. I don't know what the area code is in Texas, folks. This guy might be inspired a little bit by Rey Mysterio. Evans going up top now. 450! Cover! Leg hook! Tick out at 2 by JD Griffey. Whoa. Very impressive by Dalen. And right now, JD, slow to stir, back up to his feet. Griffey, though, tries to catch him, lands on his feet again. Oh, stop by the champion. Right to the sternum, back to the midsection. And Dalen right now, and JD in respective corners. Dalen on the attack. JD sends up and over. Lands on the apron. Again, that core stream of Griffey right now. About to get, oh! Again, the referee, though, inadvertently in the way, and the champion lost his footing on the top rope. It's that sudden moment that you take high risk, that you either launch or you hit disaster. JD with a big PK kick, and now hooking it up, the champion. What the hell? Oh! Good Lord. Shoulder breaker too. God, we got a new champion. Wow. Well, that was sudden. Well, his nickname is Shady for a reason. History made at Ring of Honor Global Wars for the first time ever in conjunction with Metroplex Wrestling. JD Griffey, now a 6-time MPX champion. Again, that vicious shoulder breaker. Damon's still feeling it, though. I did not expect to call a title change here tonight. Well, congratulations to JD Griffey. It's a heck of a win there. The precision, the timing, the calculated nature of this Sadie challenger, bringing him back to glory. Good luck to Metroplex Wrestling taking the title off this guy again. Leaving Arlington with the gold. And of course, speaking of returns and Ring of Honor and its worldwide recognition, of course, the Black Widow, newly signed to All Elite Wrestling, Persephone of CMLL, returns to ROH next week. And I'm sure she has Athena in her crosshairs. Of course, that's next week. Speaking of this week and Athena, it's time for our main event. As we get ready for trios action here with Texas' own Hyan and Maya World. And this could have a lot of championship implications. Currently 1-0 as a duo, of course, beating the likes of Lady Bird Monroe and London Dior. And tonight, though, we got quite a surprise here. Fluent in Purrazzo as the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo coexists with these two tonight. Of course, the inaugural Ring of Honor Pure Champion, and of course, Ring of Honor Class 1 alumni, former Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. The definition of pure was written for Women of Honor by the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. Of course, teaming up alongside Madison Rayne, who now officially announced that she is retired. Of course, you can go check out virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo and Steve Mackin's podcast, Boots to Boots. Their latest interview was with Madison Rayne. Of course, virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, fluent in the art of the Fujiwara armbar, not to mention a master's of history and pursuing higher education. And I, of course, encourage anybody to go after an education to better themselves and the future for their family. Hyan and Maya World, of course, recently were signed to be All Elite. But we all know who they're dealing with here, because one thing defines Ring of Honor forever, and that is our fallen goddess, our minion overlord, Athena, who literally has had a hand in training Maya World. And of course, her best minions, Billie Starkz and Diamanté. Billie Starkz, who lost against the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo in the Ring of Honor Pure Tournament Finals. And Diamanté, who has aligned herself with the fallen goddess. Of course, played a helping hand at Final Battle against Persephone, who was a very game challenger against Athena, who has now held that title for over 1,000 plus days. It's a lot of ego, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, but it's absolutely earned in this main event tonight when it comes to these women. And Billie Starkz, the inaugural Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion. Diamanté, one of the meanest out of course, the 305. And of course, Billie Starkz, Diamanté have not had a great run-in with the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, even though they got the better of her and Madison Rayne in a single tag match. Of course, Texas' own Hyan and Maya World, very excited for this bout. This match was made last week after that sneak attack by Athena and her minions after Hyan and Maya World were able to win their tag bout, and of course came to the aid of Vixen after her proving ground bout against Athena. Deonna Purrazzo, of course, still waiting for her first challenger to step up. This is her first match, of course. Main event this week. We'll see if the Codars adhere to. Referee for this contest is Mike Posey. I'm sure Persephone can't wait to get her hands on Athena again. We'll see if Maya World and, of course, Athena, well, you know, I guess that's about as close to honor as you're going to get. Bell Reigns run away for this match. MIT, of course, represented by Athena, Billie Starkz, and Diamanté. And Athena, of course, who says this is her show. Athena, by the way, folks, has also caught out Shuri, the IWGP Women's Champion, for the IWGP Women's Championship and will challenge her for that title at the New Beginning in Trenton, New Jersey. We will be covering that here at the Super Alpha Studio, so please stay tuned. Stiff Carnival time here by Maya Will and Athena. Nice headlock takeover. The head scissors takeover. Also, it is now made official. LFI will take on Top Flight, not for the gold, but it will be a proving ground bout, no doubt, for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. Also, the Swarm Premier Athletes will go up against Bandito, Mascara Dorada, Commander, and Silla from CMLL in 8-person tag team action. That is next week on Honor Club, as you can catch Ring of Honor every 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday night. Great takedown there by Athena. Maya World, though, has this takeover. Escape, though, by Athena again. Swing and a miss. Almost looks like a sparring session, considering these two have literally trained together. Inside headlock now. Of course, Athena, it's 18 years involved in this game. Previously, I'll be out there wrestling. Former NXT Women's Champion again. Cartwheel escape by Maya World, making it look so easy. Oh, and runs into the boot of Athena. Athena has been Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, by the way, folks, for 1,154 days, over 60-plus showcases of the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship in both defenses and proving grounds, and she is undefeated in proving ground bouts. And, of course, Hyan, the Renaissance girl, disciplined far more than Maya World across the world, and, of course, in Japan. Previously challenged Julie up in the World Women's Championship, and a tag made to the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. Well, Athena, whose world is it really? This is the first time ever, by the way, folks, Deonna Purrazzo and Athena have shared the ring together. Now I'd love to see this match for the gold. Trying to take it down immediately, looking for the right arm, looking for the Fujiwara armbar. Up kick by Athena, creates separation. Side kick, miss. Pump kick connects by Deonna Purrazzo. Former, of course, Reina de Reinas champion and most impactful TNA Knockouts world champion since the pandemic. Short range clothesline now by Virtuosa. Cover on Billie starts, gets a 1 count. And, of course, Athena, former Winner of Honor world champion, as I pointed out. Whoa! There's double suplex there. Hyan now legal on the cover, back press the far leg. It's a 2 count. We might see Hyan actually challenge Deonna Purrazzo for that Ring of Honor Pure Championship now that I think about it. The Irish whip. Blind tap man by Maya World. The drop down by Billie starts. Gator roll by Hyan, though. Keeping control. This is smart here. Front face first goes Billie Starks, taken down with a running bulldog again before she can get up. Here's the cover. Maya World full body press gets a 2 count. Very impressive against the former Women of Honor television champion, the inaugural Women of Honor television champion. And, of course, Deonna Purrazzo, former Ring of Honor Women's World Champion for 115 days. Maya World landing on the apron, catching Billie Starks with a big right. Mike Posey, though, distracted. And Athena taking advantage from behind. And right now, Diamanté looking for a cheap shot against Hyan and Deonna Purrazzo. Baseball slide takes Maya World to the outside. MIT working on all cylinders. And Billie Starks, good grief, just driving down on the back of Maya World with that running swanton off the apron. Now Diamanté in, up and over. Conrad! Did not go for the cover, though. Diamanté, previous challenger to Athena, Ring of Honor's World Championship. Looking for half crab of her own. Maya World, though, making sure her body can't be turned over. And Diamanté, also previous challenger to Red Velvet's Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship. Puts the boost in the midsection, though. Spent most of her year last year, part of a tag team, actually. Tag made. Athena now, of course, legal. And, of course, Mike Posey has had his hands full with Athena since Athena's been part of Ring of Honor, for being perfectly honest here. And, of course, Maya and Hyan have formed this unique tag team chemistry very recently before coming to All Elite Wrestling. But, of course, have shared the ring one another against each other on several occasions, both, of course, being created out of the Texas area. And Athena now, lining up the chest of Maya World. Knife edge chop there. Across the chest, and right now, Athena putting the boots to Maya World in the corner. Again, Athena's last defense of the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship was against Persephone at Final Battle. She won the title here against Mercedes Martinez at Final Battle 2022 and has held a grip over that title ever since. Just ripped Maya Wood down by her hair. Jesus. Trying to make that tag and unable to. Drag back to the corner. Tag made to Billie Starks, who's had her fair share of fallout with the Midnight Overlord, including 2 losses against Athena for that Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. When many people thought she should have won it at Final Battle 2024 and 2023. DDT takeover by this crazy young upstart who's now wrestled in probably almost every state. And a tag made now to Athena again. Billie Starks, one of the most wild, unorthodox, brightest, young, independent stars in the wrestling business. You can see her, of course, JCW and GCW. Recently defended her JCW title successfully. Again, Athena right now. A cheap shot to Hyan, who gets out of the way. Deonna Purrazzo infuriated by the forever champion's nature. At some point, Deonna Purrazzo and Athena gotta look up one-on-one. And Maya World up and around goes Athena. Oh, and a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker over the knee. Critical moment here for Maya World to make the tag to her partner. Oh, look at Billie Starks trying to take Deonna Purrazzo down off the apron, and Diamanté taking Hyan down, though. Deonna squared up against Billie, takes Billie down with a forearm, but again, Maya World, nobody to tag to. And right now, Athena grabbing the ankle of Maya. Oh, catching Athena with Enziguri, but drives it to the corner. Tag me to Diamanté. Tag me to Deonna Purrazzo. A clothesline takes Diamanté down. Another clothesline. Gets to the midsection. Ooh, rising knee strike. Turns Diamanté sideways. Inside Russian leg sweep. Shoots the half into the Fujiwara armbar. Fujiwara fully applied, middle of the ring. Diamanté, though, able to reverse the pressure. Look for the roll up. Gets a 1 count. Back to her basics with the boots to the face. Cover, hook on the far leg. 2 side press and a 2 count, says Mike Posey. Woof. Billie Starks, like I said, current girl fight champion, former Spark Joshi world champion. And right now, if she can't get with the Fujiwara, she might get it with the Queen's Gambit. Billie Starks, though, coming in from the back door with a spinning back heel kick and a German suplex release. And now Hyan with the waist, like Billie Starks sent for the ride, dropping over on her head. Now Athena coming in. And the Renaissance girl rebound. German suplex by Athena to Hyan. And Maya World swinging a miss. The clothesline slips out from underneath. The pump handle by Athena. Pump handle. Deadlift German by the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Impressive double pump handle there by Athena. Deonna Purrazzo, though. Oh, takes Athena off her pedestal with the German out of the corner. Purrazzo fired up here. Diamanté, though, of course, still legal. Swinging a miss. The waist lock. Now beyond the ropes. O'Connor roll. Looking for the Chaos Fury. Cover. 2. No. Gets the right shoulder out of that unique bridge. Great Chaos Fury by Diamanté for the near win for MIT tonight at ROH Global Awards, ROH MPX. That would certainly boost her up in the singles ranking, if not boost as a challenger towards the Purrazzo's Ring of Honor Pure Championship that clearly Athena wants control of in MIT. Tag made. And now Athena back in play, and a tag made to Billie Starks. And right now MIT isolating the Virtuosa in their corner. Running elbow, running clothesline, and Athena runs into the Purrazzo. And Starks is legal. The sidestep. Purrazzo takes Diamanté down. Billie Starks staggering in the corner. Now Deonna Purrazzo looking for the tag. Crawling over to Maya Hyan World. And Billie Starks picking the ankle. Billie Starks looking for any way possible to get back against the Virtuosa for that title. And a tag made to both Hyan and Maya World. And Billie Starks swinging a miss. Right now, Maya World, I believe, is the actual legal one. As right now, Diamanté and Billie Starks square up against Hyan and Maya World. Regular eyes by MIT. Out of the hair of the eyes, I'm not sure here. The double Irish whip, meeting of the minds of Billie Starks, Diamanté. Billie Starks is still legal, by the way. And caught up high. We saw this finisher. Goodbye. No! Cazador flatliner shoots the half, the counter, back press, front leg hook, and Athena at the save in the last seconds. Whoa. That finisher is what allowed Hyan and Maya to win last week against London Dior and Lady Bird Monroe and Ring of Honor. And Athena dragging Billie Starks to her corner, making the tag made. And Hyan Went for the pump kick, and Athena catching it, slips from underneath. Nice hook up into the tombstone. Deonna, though, coming to Hyan's aid. And Athena doesn't need the banner. Athena out of the corner, taking both down with a single knee cold breaker. Athena right now in full control once again, leaning as a coach should. Tammy to Diamanté, isolating Hyan, the hammer lock. And what is this? Oh! Oh, it's a modified lightning spiral there. Renaissance on. Billie Starkz now legal. Hyan in position. Billie Starkz, the Swanton bomb! Back press with the far leg too, and Maya kicks Athena into the cover to break it up and save the matchup. Twice we've seen near falls on both sides. Now all 6 women are brawling at the time being. Diamanté sent to the outside. Last time we saw Deonna Purrazzo here in Texas was in that crazy war against La Mera Mera Thunder Rosa, previous challenger to Athena as we were on with the championship. Sidestep Diamanté to still ring steps by Deonna Purrazzo, and Maya World isolated with Billie Starkz. Caught with a rewind kick, and Maya World down. Billie Starkz going up to the top rope. Might be looking again for another big-time Swanton bomb beneath the knees, the back of the head, and the shoulder blades. And Maya, round the waist, schoolgirl, leg trap. Maya World the win! Beautiful leg trap cradle by Maya World to get the win for Maya World, Hyan, and Deonna Purrazzo against MIT and Billie Starkz condecision. Payback for Texas' own. Athena, again, who literally holds the sword at Billie Starkz' throat as Billie Starkz fails her once again. Great win by Deonna and Hyan and Maya World tonight at Global Wars in our main event. Well done. There's only so much disrespect you can take before you prove you're better or you're meant or wrong, and Athena looks absolutely apoplectic. I would not want to be in that same locker room with Billie Starkz and Diamanté and Athena right now. I mean, Athena can't blame Billie Starkz for this. Bottom line, she got caught. And about to say Athena, though, figuring that's supposed to be her night. It's gotta be disappointed. Diamanté trying to cool Athena down. Great heart, great determination, great trios, cohesion here on both sides. Athena's gotta be disappointed here, figuring again that this was her show, considering how much she's involved in MPX. Now reading her minions, the Riot Act. Well, while Athena's not happy, I know I'm happy because this has been a great night once again for Ring of Honor Wrestling. So, on behalf of the Simple Lava Studios, if you haven't already, thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Matt, I'm doing well as this show has just concluded. If you haven't already, go check out my friends coming MLW Battle Riot 8 or go check out their coverage right now across our Wrestling Revolver. We still have so much more wrestling here being covered live right now at the Simple Lava Studios. So check out the teams that are covering those as we speak. And stay tuned again this Saturday for the Saturday Shenanigans hosted by the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. We have a lot coming up for you in the near future in regards to Poda Mania. We got guest interviews coming up, so please stay tuned, follow with us, and tell everyone you know on the X and on YouTube. The Simple Lava Studios, this is what we do, bringing you the coverage for all things wrestling. Hope you all enjoyed. I'm the Superman Noah Foster. Thank you all for tuning in to our coverage tonight. I'll bring up on our Global War. So until the next time I'm on your screen, I'm going to bid you all fine farewell on behalf of the Simple Lava Studios family. I'll see you all next time, but until then, make a positive impact in life. Have a good night. Happy wrestling, everybody. This has been Ring of Honor Global Wars, courtesy of Metroplex Wrestling. Take care, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to this special on-demand coverage. It's been an honorable pleasure. Have a good one.